WCPX TV Orlando. Tonight's news with Mary Hamill. Weather with Bruce Hamilton. And Keith Ward with sports. And now, WCPX Channel 6 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 48 hours from now, we should know the name of the next governor of Florida. Tonight, if you believe in the accuracy of opinion polls and the power of newspaper endorsements, then you probably believe the name you'll be hearing is Lawton Chiles. Chiles has been campaigning in the Panhandle today. 25 newspapers are endorsing him, including the Orlando Sentinel, the Miami Herald, the Tampa Tribune, and the St. Petersburg Times. Governor Bob Martinez has been racing from one campaign stop to the next in Tampa and Polk County today. He's received 4 endorsements from newspapers in Jacksonville, DeLand, Jackson County, and Lake City. The 3 polls released this weekend show Chiles with a slight lead over Martinez. Today's Florida newspaper poll shows 47% of the voters interviewed say they will vote for Chiles. 43% say they are voting for Martinez. Tonight, Channel 6 News reporter Craig Eicher says it's been a busy day for both candidates and their volunteer workers. Both campaigns heading into the long home stretch of one of the biggest races in the country.
Orlando Chiles supporters today walking the precincts for Lawton. They call it the least glamorous yet most important kind of campaigning.
I think the people are going to support us, and it's just really important to get the message across that the people need to go out, and the people will win.
Their message clearly reached some.
I would get my parents to vote for Lawton Chiles because we don't like Martinez at all. He's a bad governor to us.
Chiles spent much of the day at a rally in Pensacola. Bob Martinez, meanwhile, courted the ecclesiastical vote in his hometown. An important part of his support can be expected from religious Floridians who favor the governor's strong opposition to abortion.
Thank you for, on behalf of our church body and this particular congregation, the stance that you have on life issues. We support you in that. We want you to know that.
But it could not be said the governor was preaching to the choir today. Even a woman who is pro-life still says she will vote for Chiles.
Well, I'd just like to see a change, basically, as simple as that.
Florida's governor's race is turning out to be one of the most closely watched elections in the country. 2 other mega states, California and Texas, are also choosing their governors on Tuesday. And it turns out a lot of people nationwide are very interested. Chiles and Martinez appeared on national television this morning. Chiles skirted the questions about his mental health, while Martinez refused to say if he would support any further legislative restrictions on abortion during the next 4 years. In Orlando, Craig Eicher, WCPX Channel 6 News.
Lawton Chiles will be waving to commuters early tomorrow morning at the corner of 436 and I-4 in Orlando. Governor Martinez will be campaigning in Tallahassee. Also on Tuesday, you'll be deciding whether there should be a mandatory 3-day waiting period in Florida for anyone who wants to buy a handgun. Tonight, the latest poll shows an overwhelming 89% of voters surveyed say they support the proposed constitutional amendment. Channel 6 News reporter Bob Barnard shows us the changes that would be brought about by Proposition 2.
William Farron was a disturbed 29-year-old when he shot and killed his father and critically wounded his stepmother 3 years ago. Farron had bought a .25 caliber pistol at this East Orange County gun shop only 6 hours before the shootings. Farron lied on the form to get his gun, not telling the shop owner he had recently been released from a mental institution. Orange County has since passed a 3-day waiting period for the purchase of handguns. Those pushing for a statewide gun control law in Florida say the William Farron case is a classic example why a 3-day waiting period should be mandatory. The man most seriously wounded in the assassination attempt on President Reagan 9.5 years ago was recently in Central Florida, urging passage of Proposition 2.
Send a message to Congress that the people of Florida support a reasonable cooling off period for handgun sales.
But talk to people who work with guns and they'll tell you Proposition 2 is a farce.
Gun laws don't do anything except prevent honest people from buying a gun. It's always been that way. There's over 20,000 gun laws in the United States. None of them work.
Bill Locklear works at Niles Gun Range in Seminole County, where there is currently no required waiting period for anyone over 21 to purchase a handgun. Seminole is one of 5 counties in our area where there is no waiting period. Only gun dealers in Flagler, Volusia, and Orange counties cannot sell you a gun on the spot. Flagler's is a 2-day wait. Volusia and Orange counties make you wait 3 days. If Proposition 2 passes, the law will take effect no later than December 31st of next year. Bob Barnard, WCPX Channel 6 News.
Channel 6 News will wrap up the major races tomorrow and have full election coverage starting Tuesday at noon. It's a story drawing attention around the world tonight. Hundreds of dolphins have beached themselves on a small Japanese island, and many of them, most of them, have died. About 600 dolphins washed ashore and refused to return to sea despite attempts by local residents to get them back in the water. Many of the dead dolphins have been cut up for their meat. Police tonight are denying reports the dolphins were driven to the beach by local fishermen. A quiet Osceola County community is alarmed tonight. They say their family pets, dogs and cats, are being killed. Residents report at least a dozen missing or killed pets. They say they were shot or poisoned. They found the remains of several in this brush pile near a mobile home park. A woman who lives next door says she found the remains of her pet there 2 days ago.
He was laying in the grass dead with another dog, and all blown up and junk like that, you know, where he'd been laying there a while. And then from that point, everybody started getting riled up about it, and they wanted to know who's doing this.
Brandon Ogle says his own dog was poisoned and says he's seen a man killing a cat.
He pulled out a gun and he shot that cat. And I didn't see what he did with the cat. He just went on about his business.
The man the residents accused of killing their pets was not available to talk to us tonight. The residents say they are waiting for the Osceola County Sheriff's Office to do something. Orange County Sheriff's deputies this afternoon arrested 3 people and charged them with the unlawful possession of an alligator. The 17-year-old told deputies he caught the 2.5-foot gator while fishing this afternoon on Lake Apopka. Neighbors say they heard the 3 men talking about cutting off the gator's tail and cooking it, and that's when they called deputies. Fish and game officers say the baby gator was not harmed, and they've released it back into the lake. Mary Martin, the spunky actress who flew across the Broadway stage and our television screens as Peter Pan, has died of cancer. She was 76. Mary Martin was one of the theater's leading ladies for more than 30 years.
I won't grow up, I won't grow up, I won't wear tie.
Mary Martin once said all her life she wanted to be Peter Pan. When she was 5, she wanted to fly and jumped off the family garage. She broke her collarbone. Martin also starred in the Broadway musicals The Sound of Music and South Pacific. She's survived by her daughter and son, actor Larry Hagman, 6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. A memorial service will be held in New York.
Of the candidates for circuit judge in Orange and Osceola counties, only Patrick Phillips has significantly more experience than his opponent. Patrick Phillips brings to the bench over 15 years real-world legal experience. Patrick Phillips was an Air Force pilot and decorated Vietnam veteran. In a recent Florida Bar judicial poll, the attorneys of Central Florida gave Patrick Phillips the highest rating, saying he is more qualified than his opponent by a margin of approximately 2 to 1. November 6th is Election Day. Vote Patrick Phillips, Circuit Judge.
The average driver puts 12 to 13,000 miles a year on a car. At Saturn, we knew this. Where and how, though, is anyone's guess. For sure, we knew people would be taking the new Saturn places and using it in ways you'd never figure or even imagine. So we tested it. We ran it 6 million miles, everywhere, and sometimes nowhere.
Eastern would like to explain the concept behind our new corporate rates. It's really quite simple. You get the same coach ticket that puts you back here on other airlines, except you sit up here in first class. So for what it costs to fly back here on them, you can fly up here on Eastern in our new first class section, which is twice the size of our old first class section. Up here for the price of back here. Only offered here.
Tom Gallagher made $1 million in the insurance industry. Then he became the industry's insurance commissioner, raising our insurance rates every time they asked him. And he did it behind closed doors. George Stewart will fight for us.
We've had a revolving door in the insurance commissioner's office. Commissioners make their fortune in the insurance industry, come into office, raise rates, and then return to the open arms in the industry they came from. We're going to put the public fist in that revolving door and tell them we've had enough.
George Stewart, because he fights for us.
He's earned international attention, thousands of dollars worth of charity for others, and a world record for receiving more Get Well cards than any other person in history, 16 million and counting. Today, 7-year-old Craig Shergold of Surrey, England, added another accomplishment to that list. He was the honorary duck master at the Peabody Hotel. Shergold has a rare type of brain tumor. This week he's visiting all the attractions around Orlando. But Channel 6 News reporter Annette Falwell tells us Craig and his parents are in the U.S. for more than just fun.
Craig and his parents hope a doctor in Virginia will be able to save his young life. The doctor has a treatment not available in the family's home country, England.
Hopefully it gets him right better. And
I'll be better,
Dad. I know you will.
Not only is Craig sure he'll get better, he wants to help other children with cancer get better too. He's raised thousands of dollars for those kids, recycling the envelopes and auctioning a stamp collection from some 16 million Get Well cards, which helped him earn a world record.
I feel proud he's mine. He's not as if he's a silly child either. He's got a bit of a brain on him, hasn't you?
Craig appears at many children's cancer charity events. He loves the new friends he's made, but has one comment about them.
They're a bit shy.
He's a lovely, very special little boy. And there's millions of children all over the world ill, and I believe God chose him for something very special. And he's become a symbol of hope for lots of people with cancer.
The Shergold family is grateful for the love and generosity that Americans have shown them. This child who believes in miracles got to make one of his dreams come true today with a visit to Disney World. Annette Falwell, WCPX Channel 6 News.
The Shergolds say they're amazed at the American goodwill toward them. Americans are paying not only for the family's trip to Orlando, but also for the child's medical treatment here. CBS News has a crew in Orlando following the family. They've been covering Craig's story for months and will feature him in a Connie Chung special. Time now to turn to this week's Crime Line report. Last July, an 88-year-old Volusia County woman was raped and beaten in her home. 3 days later, the woman died, and police are still looking for her killer. Here's Officer Jim Bishop with details.
An 88-year-old New Smyrna Beach woman was brutally raped and beaten in her home on July 24, 1990. 3 days later, she died in the hospital from complications she suffered because of the attack. Whitney Gunn, who lived alone at 219 Live Oak Street, was asleep when at about 11 p.m. the suspect entered her house. He reached through an open jalousie on the rear door, tore the screen, and unlocked the door. Investigators believe that he then went directly to Miss Gunn and started his assault on her while she slept.
But it appeared after he entered through the door, he proceeded west through a bathroom area into a small bedroom between the living room and the bathroom, at which time he sexually assaulted and severely beat the victim.
If you can help solve this murder-rape, call Crime Line at 423-TIPS or toll free at 1-800-423-TIPS. You'll be eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. You only have to give us your name. All we want is your information.
When Channel 6 News returns, Bruce Hamilton will tell us if Monday will get off to a sunny start. Plus, 'tis not the season, but Christmas trees are arriving already.
It's Truck Month at your Central Florida Chevy Team dealers with price breakthroughs like you've never seen before. Save big on Blazer. Save big on S10. Save big on full-size pickups and maxi cabs. Styled for the 90s, priced for the 80s, with up to $1,000 cash back on select models. This is the biggest truck sale in Central Florida Chevy Team dealer history, but it's a sale that ends November 19th. So if you wanted a Chevy truck, the truck that beats them all, the deals that beat all you'll ever see, get moving!
Patsy Kurth calls herself an environmentalist. The people at Duda call her friend. As a member of the Planning and Zoning Board, Ms. Kurth voted to rezone 3 parcels of wetlands. 1, 2, 3 parcels of fragile, scarce wetlands, rezoned for Duda developments. Then she accepted $1,800 in contributions from the Duda developers. How are we going to explain that to future generations, Patsy? How are you going to explain it to the voters? Tim Daratani, State Senate.
Craig James is fighting for us in Congress. James fought against the congressional pay raise and against all tax increases, and James has won awards for his fight against government waste. Reed Hughes is for new and higher taxes and against a balanced budget amendment. The Sun News says Craig James earns a second congressional term. but declares Reed Hughes lies and may well be a hypocrite. The Orlando Sentinel says James is the better choice, and he has represented
crisp, clean feeling, and it holds strong.